House is to vote on the debt ceiling deal as some Republicans and Democrats are voicing their opposition.
Hill with the frantic efforts to raise America's borrowing limit to make sure we can keep paying America's bills, paying seniors, paying the military, paying our creditors, all of it. Lawmakers on both sides of the aisle, they are under intense pressure to accept the deal as it is. It was struck by President Biden and House Speaker Kevin McCarthy. But with a big vote in the House expected later today, more than 24 are already vowing to reject the agreement. This could be very bad. Nicole Killian is on Capitol Hill for us. Nicole, good morning. It's never happened before. Are there enough votes to get this thing passed and raise the debt ceiling?
Well, good morning to you, Tony. We will see. House Republicans met behind closed doors for about 2 hours last night to try to rally support for this bill. GOP leaders are projecting confidence, but it's still not clear if the votes are there.
All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Today, the debt deal is bound for the House floor after clearing the powerful Rules Committee Tuesday night by one vote.
What do the 13 of us owe the rest of Congress? We owe them an honest shake.
Kentucky Congressman Thomas Massie helped push the measure over the edge after it failed to get unanimous support from panel Republicans like Chip Roy.
Is it worth blowing up this deal when you have that default deadline less than a week from now?
Default is off the table. It would be the President of the United States that would choose to default.
At least 20 Republicans say they'll vote no on a final bill.
The debt ceiling bill sneaks in provisions that make students borrowers pay interest on the past 3 years of pause payments. No, that's not true. That's not no. That's not true at all. So what was going to happen, for the record, what was going to happen with the student with the student loan situation was that they were going to continue the student loan repayment pause, or rather, they were going to end the pause regardless. They didn't sneak anything new into it. They passed a separate bill. You're probably thinking of a separate bill that passed with 2 Democrats joining that vote, as a matter of fact. But that is not going to pass the Senate. That'd be insane if it did. I mean, maybe it will, but that would be even wilder. Like that would be genuinely wild if the Senate decided to pass that bill.
It would lift the debt limit past the 2024 election and, according to new projections by the Congressional Budget Office, cut spending by $1.5 trillion over a decade.
It's bull. What do you say to your fellow Republicans who are firm no? Keep walking.
Hey, no walking backwards. Everybody has elected to here to take their vote.
I mean, are they expendable? Are you looking to flip them?
Get as many votes as we can for you.
The deal brokered between Speaker McCarthy and President Biden has some hardline conservatives calling for the Speaker's ouster.
Do you think he should lose his job?
I think it's necessary because he's catastrophically failed in this negotiation.
It's also tough to swallow for some progressive Democrats concerned about tougher work requirements and other carve-outs.
To have the president solely negotiating with Republicans itself, I don't think it was a really good look.
We want to make sure there's no default, so that's priority number one. But we also need to hold our ground and stand up for the most vulnerable Americans.
Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffrey has told me he's having discussions with his members, and this morning, White House negotiators and top aides will brief House Democrats on the deal here at the Capitol. Nate?
Nicole, we appreciate your diligent work.
So Bernie is voting no on the debt ceiling, and what a lot of you probably do not factor in here is that because this is supposedly a bipartisan deal, okay, a lot of people on both sides of the political spectrum are going to be able to say no to it. So, Bernie Sanders saying no is just, that means that, like, because he has seniority, he might genuinely have an issue with it, which I'm sure he does. But, like, because he has seniority, he has the capacity to fucking say no. They discussed this ahead of time. Okay? This is something that is done behind closed doors, but usually they'll let people maintain their integrity, and it's like a thing that the Democratic Party will let you do, just like the Republican Party will let you do. It's kind of a part of the game. But this doesn't mean that like this bill will not actually go forward. And we're worried about the NBA being scripted? Yeah. Don't the Republicans want to give the military another $85 billion? That seems like a pretty easy reason to say no. No, they... What do you mean? Like there's plenty of Republicans that will say yes to this. Also, this doesn't touch the military discretionary spending anyway. It's not a part of the conversation at all. Can you explain what's all in the bill? I have many times over. You can watch a video that I have cut out on this on my YouTube. Republicans are holding America hostage, where I talked to American Prospects David Dayen on the issue, what's in the bill, what ended up being in the bill, and how this conversation is actually frivolous and it never needed to happen. Okay. It cleared the first procedural vote with more Democrats voting for it than Republicans voting against it. There will be a final debate / vote later today, but most likely they are, I mean, unless something insane happens and the Never Kevers actually showcase their power, it's most likely going to pass. King, you're short. Got 5 million views. What short? I don't even know what you're talking about. Anyway, it essentially cuts military spending, at least the trajectory of it, and doesn't include the increases the hogs wanted. American discretionary military spending will never be legitimately cut. And no, this conversation, this back and forth, unless there's something that they snuck into it, which I don't believe they did, does not actually touch the discretionary spending at all. I'm sure it was like a counter proposal that like some, progressive Democrats suggested for a brief moment, but yeah, and as a matter of fact, it doesn't cut the military spending, it increases it. Biden GOP agreed a 2-year budget debt limit increase includes enhanced work requirements for food aid. Biden-McCarthy death a deal set to increase military spending from $800 billion to the current budget to $885 billion. Yeah. You don't even need to know anything about American politics to know that the discretionary military spending is ever going to... What? The problem is that you marginalize people that stand outside of your opinion. That's not okay. Check yourself. What? Are you okay, chatter? Like, how fucking bored are you? We're talking about the debt ceiling, and this guy's like, hey, man, I just pissed my diapers. Can you pay attention to me? Like, you okay? Honestly, one of the worst possible things that could have ever happened, but also really funny, but still annoying, is Republicans and conservatives talking like academic SJWs. You know what I mean? Like, you're doing a Bodies and Spaces right now, and this is this is a Christian faith safe space, and the fact that you, a Muslim man, is trivializing what Christianity has gone through throughout the years and marginalizing Christians is truly unforgivable. It's like, what do you mean, dude? Shut the fuck up. Like, what are you, a bitch? Shut up. Yeah, Chud's standpoint theory is right. That's exactly what's going on, which is pretty funny on its face, but it still gets like annoying. Yeah, when chatters pop off and go, point of personal white privilege. Motherfucker said, I marginalize people outside of my perspective. Like, what are you talking about? Like, what do you mean? I want to know what he's talking about. I want to know. What's going on? How have I marginalized your perspective? What is your perspective? Is it worthy of being criticized? Is that criticism actually marginalization? Anyway. Just like, maybe he's talking about it as an unsubscribed chatter. Who knows? Because at the top of the hour, there's a 3-minute ad break. Oh, Weeby already fucking banned his ass, dude. I want to hear from him, Weeby. We will ban them once they fucking, once they're no longer entertaining. I hope they didn't leave. Anyway. But yeah, if you don't want to feel marginalized by the top of the hour ad break, then all you need to do is subscribe, which you can do for $5 or for free with a Twitch Prime, like I said, by connecting your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account, or by getting gifted a sub. Sakura Gore lowering the rate of marginalization in the chat by offering 50 big ones to 50 lucky recipients of the gifted subs. Here's the 3-minute ad break now. I didn't realize all the Democrats were totally okay with giving the military another $85 billion for literally nothing. I was wrong, Lamau. I don't really know the situation. Okay. As I was saying before that guy came in and started complaining like a little bitch, claiming that I was marginalizing people outside of my political perspective. If you don't know anything about American politics, you can always assume that the military is going to have bipartisan support and the discretionary military spending is always going to increase. Bottom G and Deke of Hazard, thank you for the 5 get the subs as well, allowing 10 people to no longer see the ads at the top of the hour. The military spending increase is lower than inflation, which isn't a win whatsoever, but in real dollars is a cut. No. I hate when people make this argument. This is not like your bosses giving you a 1% raise, okay? This is additional money that the military is slated to get that they got, and this is extra money on top of that, okay? You banned me. You're not here to have a constructive argument. You just want to crush people against you. It's pointless for me to say anything because you will not listen to anything I have to say. Dude, conservatives stop pissing and shitting their pants challenge. One of my moderators banned you. I unbanned them. I gave you exactly what you wanted, which was to center the entire conversation in a fucking stadium full of people around you and your immediate whiny interests. Then you turned around and you still continued to whine about something that is currently not happening to you. You're literally writing in the chat. I unbanned you so that you can offer a constructive argument. I asked you what you think I do with respect to marginalization of people that stand outside of my opinion. But instead of actually giving me an answer to that, you just kept crying about a thing that wasn't happening to begin with, by adding on to that thing that's also not happening, which is, it's pointless for me to say anything because you will not listen to anything I have to say. I'm quite literally doing the exact opposite of what you're saying by offering you a fucking podium. Okay? You have the floor. I'm listening to you. This is a listening session, okay? I want to hear from people with diverse opinions. You got the privilege. You got the podium, okay? Let it rip. Let's hear it, Capablanco. What is it? Or maybe, and I'm just speculating here, you just want to cry because you're a weenie, okay? You're at Weenie Hut Jr. flipping burgers, okay? That's what you're doing. And like you didn't really expect any kind of reaction. You just wanted to fucking cry. Hopefully one day you will exhibit the courage. Weenie Hut Jr. serves hot dogs, not burgers. Okay. Breaking. Kevin McCarthy announced a commission to look at cutting Social Security and Medicare. I'm going to make some people uncomfortable. By some people, he means his fucking voters, dude. He attacked Biden for walling off cuts to Social Security and Medicare during the debt ceiling negotiations. Okay, I feel like this is scripted. There is no way that this person legitimately is saying this out loud. In a country like the United States of America, as our current political understanding revolves around like not touching Medicare or Social Security, when Donald Trump is literally criticizing Ron DeSantis from the left, claiming that Ron DeSantis wants to fucking cut Medicare. It is ridiculous that this guy is straight up advocating against the best interest of his own fucking voting bloc. That's crazy. The demographics that are on Medicare and on Social Security are the demographics that overwhelmingly vote Republican. What are you saying? What are you doing?
Nation. So the first thing we did, open the House up. The bills, I was elected to help lead this nation. So the first thing we did, open the House up. The bills, you now get to see them before you ever vote on them. And now we're cutting. And you know what? I'm going to make some people uncomfortable by doing that, but I'm not going to give up on the American people.
This is not a new concept. We've known about this for years as the political doctrine. Yes, but Republicans moved away from this a while ago. They certainly fully moved away from this under the Trump administration because ultimately, even the fucking base recognized that, like, they're like, hey, we're old. We need Medicare. Hey, we're old. We need Social Security. Here's what I think. Looking at what you were saying about Ben Shapiro, like you just constantly shame the guy just like you're doing to me. That's not what a real man do. Calling him a cuck and stuff. Like, dude, how old are you sometimes? Okay, this is not a complaint. You're tone policing. You sound like a fucking pathetic little SJW. You said you marginalize people that stand outside of your opinion and that's not okay. And now you're tone policing me on how I choose to do commentary. Do you think this is constructive criticism or do you think this is crying like you're at Weenie Hut Jr.? Okay? I don't just say Ben Shapiro sucks. I also tell you why he sucks. Whatever kind of embellishments I choose in my rhetoric is up to me. Okay? So you haven't described why I marginalize people unless you literally think Ben Shapiro is a cuck and you think that like that is a protected category and I am actually making fun of him and it's really fucked up because, you know, sometimes a guy wants to watch his wife get fucking destroyed by a bull. Like, are you doing a Cuck Lives Matter take here? Is that what you're doing? Is that where your advocacy is? Is that how I've marginalized Ben Shapiro? You constantly shame the guy just like you're doing to me. I'm shaming you not because of who you are. I'm shaming you because of what you're saying. What you're saying is stupid, okay? I think that a lot more people, including those on the left and those on the right, even myself included, need to hear this, okay? They need to hear this. Sometimes people are very stupid and they say a lot of stupid shit. We are not going to sit here and go, let's address this dumbass point by point, okay? Public shaming is sometimes a necessity, especially in a closed social setting like this one, because we're trying to move from conversation to conversation and have it be as productive as possible. Okay? You get it? Give me a real example of what is happening instead of whining like, you know, a weenie little baby. That's not what a real man do, like, which is, by the way, antithetical to what you're fucking trying to present here. Do you think a real man whines like a weenie little baby and says you're marginalizing people? Why should I listen to what you have to say about what a real man does when you got soft hands, brother? I can fucking touch and feel how soft your hands are as you're typing this shit out. You got baby hands and you're crying like a baby. Give me a good argument. I'm giving you the podium. You're crying about things that are not happening to you. And now you're crying that I called Ben Shapiro a cuck.
And this isn't the end. This doesn't solve all the problems. This is the first step. I'm going to announce a commission coming forward from the Speaker, from bipartisan on both sides of the aisle. We only got to look at 11% of the budget to find these cuts. We have to look at the entire budget. The Congress has done this before.
Why didn't you see the whole budget?
Because the president walled off all the others. The majority driver of the budget is mandatory spending. It's Medicare, Social Security, interest on the debt. So you only have 11% to look at this budget. But we were able to increase our defense to protect us, take care of our veterans. But you know that non-defense with veterans out, we are now going to spend less than we spent in 2022. That's a major victory. I was elected to help.
I got soft hands too. Sorry, I was talking to my mom. That's why I muted. And I fucking forgot to unmute. That's the joke. Thank you, Comrade Crunk, for getting the joke. Okay? We're all in this together. You know what I mean? We're watching Twitch. We're watching Twitch. So are you. Okay? There's nothing hard or hard body about watching Twitch and crying in a fucking Twitch chat, especially when you're crying in defense of Ben Shapiro, because you think that Ben Shapiro's feelings would get hurt because he was doing like a 33-minute anti-queer screed about like, you know, how he saw a rainbow-colored T-shirt at Target and he fucking lost his mind, and that's why we need to break up these monopolies.
Lead this nation. So the first thing we did.
The unfortunate reality for many of you is that if you hyper-focus on like the words I'm using or the language that I'm using and you cry about that, you're just tone policing and you're hyper-focusing on the aesthetics. Listen to what I have to say. Listen to my words. Listen to what I'm actually criticizing, not how I'm criticizing it. Okay? Because there's a lot more there than just me calling Ben Shapiro a baby. There's a reason why I'm calling him a baby. I'm calling him a baby because he's behaving in a baby-like fashion. I think crying about, you know, T-shirts and binkies is baby-like. Anyway. Kevin McCarthy cutting Social Security and Medicare, or advocating to cut Social Security and Medicare, is quite literally a gift from the Republicans to Joseph Robinette Biden. Straight up.
Well, with the debt deadline looming, the proposed Biden-McCarthy deal heads to the House floor later tonight. Probably 8:30 is when a vote could be taken. But not everybody is completely on board. The House Freedom Caucus has railed against the proposal. Here's some members yesterday.
Vote no and do the right thing. And let's go find a better deal.
There's going to be a reckoning about what just occurred.
And this deal is absolutely one of the biggest abominations.
Don't tell me you're going to put me over a barrel for $4 trillion because you refuse to do your job.
Okay, let's now talk to House Freedom Caucus member Congressman Andy Biggs. Joins us right now from the D.C. area. Andy, good morning to you.
Morning, Steve.
There are a lot of members of your House Freedom Caucus who say this thing is a stink bomb.
Wow. When I see a guy that looks like this, I'm like, that's healthy. This motherfucker needs Medicare, man. I mean, of course, he doesn't need Medicare because he has the platinum health care that congresspersons have. But even then, he just looks like a fucking zomber. Goddamn.
Yeah, that's right. And I'll just bring it down to its most common terms, give them the benefit of the doubt. They say you're going to save $1.3 trillion over 10 years. Well, let's put it on an annual basis. That's a savings of about $133 billion with a growth in your national debt of somewhere around $2 trillion.
Okay.
It doesn't seem like a great exchange. The problem is never been
Not
a
enough.
willingness to deficit spend.
Bro, isn't that funny that history just happens to repeat itself? It feels like we're having the grand bargain conversation again, and again, the players are the same as well. The Freedom Caucus, or the Tea Party at the time, versus Joe Biden and Barack Obama. Barack Obama's out of the question, but but it's still the same guys that were in the Tea Party that are now the Freedom Caucus going up against the same guy, Joe Biden, who was negotiating with them and was willing to compromise. And then that compromise came down and fell apart when the Tea Party guys said, no, we don't want this. We don't want any of this. It's fucking hilarious, man.
And grow the national debt. The problem has always been bending the spending curve down, trying to balance out our spending to our revenue numbers.
Sure. Well, one of the problems for the House Freedom Caucus and for the Republicans in general is you guys only control one half of one branch of government. When the Democrats had unified government where they have the White House, the Senate, and the Congress, they could just steamroll over you guys. You guys only have a little bit of leverage, really.
Yeah, but what I think should have been done here, instead of that last bill that they sent over being the floor from which negotiate up, which is what's happened here,
right,
is we should have done the very best product we could have gotten out of the House. And that would have been turning the spending curve down, going back to 2019 levels. Nobody would say that was too little government. And then if you get those 2019 levels, we're excessive of that as far as our revenues. We would be able, and I suggest we just try for a year to see if we could live within our means, and then you wouldn't even have to raise the debt ceiling. But we didn't do that.
Yeah. And we are where we are right now.
Freedom Caucus, only 45 seats in the House. Who cares what they think? Are you kidding me? They've been able to get together and destroy so many bills. What are you talking about? 45 seats is a lot of seats, man. They don't. Where is the 45 seat majority that the Republicans have currently that they can just that they could just fucking turn around and I don't know, say, fuck you, Freedom Caucus. We don't give a shit. We'll just override your interests. The funny part about it is that they have no unified interest. That's the hilarious issue here, okay? The hilarious issue here is that, the reason why these debt ceiling conversations happen in the way that they did is because it's not even Kevin McCarthy's fault. It's just that, they don't really have anything. What are Republicans writing for? You can't, write into legislation to, force Target to only sell straight clothing. You know what I mean? What policy positions do the Republicans have? They already get whatever the fuck they want at the high level when it's, when it's, actual, economic policies cutting taxes for the wealthy and corporations. So, you can't really do anything.
Now, and it sounds like the House is going to have to pass this, and then it's got to clear the Senate by Monday to avert a default. Ultimately, that's what a lot of Americans are worried about, is defaulting on our debt.
Yeah, well, here's the deal. I introduced legislation that would give us rescissions of $90 billion, and that $90 billion would have immediately pushed off a debt crisis for at least probably 45 days. We thought it could go as far as 60 to 90 days, but they didn't want to do a short-term rescission. They preferred to do this big monstrosity, and it's a bit of a problem.
If you had to be a betting man, is this thing going to pass tonight?
Yeah, I think it's going to pass. I think you're going to get 100 to 150 Democrats and probably 100 or so, maybe more, Republicans.
Sure.
So why are you chirping?
What about the Speaker? The way that
why are you
Kevin
chirping
McCarthy
then?
made the deal to become Speaker is it just takes one member to call a vote, and you could.
Dude, there you go. That is the perfect fucking snapshot, dude. Look, you want to know?
Vote, and you could
Hold on.
start the process to boot him. We heard some people yesterday, at least, and you feel to become speaker. Is it just
Here,
takes
look.
one?
Look, Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique Disneyland 2023 has nothing to do with what they're talking about. But that's pretty. They ran out of B-roll to show, so they had to go back. They accidentally revealed what they actually care about, which is the Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique at Disneyland. Perfect blooper for Fox News. They're talking about the debt ceiling. They don't really got anything going on that front. They got no like coherent ideology or coherent strategy. They have no real demands. So like, you know, you got the Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique. It's like, let's move on to like the real important shit. You know, that's.
You could start the process to boot him. We heard some people yesterday, at least one person said, this guy's got to go. What do you think is going to happen with Kevin McCarthy, the speaker?
Well, you know, Steve, I can't project what will happen with Kevin. I know there's a lot of dissatisfaction. I've been focusing on the bill and trying to get the word out on what I think are the problems with the bill. It's hard to say.
You could literally get Republicans more motivated to care about the debt ceiling and the debt limit and put forward a united front if you said that the debt ceiling was gay. Okay, the debt ceiling has gone woke, folks. I'm terrified to announce this piece of news. Okay, just like the Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique at Disney World, the debt limit has gone woke. It's time to abolish it. It's time to destroy it. The woke ceiling needs to be gone.
What'll happen with Kevin? I'm more concerned what's going to go on with the trajectory of the term, because does this represent a new coalition and a new trajectory where the speaker is going to go to the Democrats more and more to try to put forward whatever he thinks his agenda ought to be? And that's really concerning to me, and I think it should be concerning to members of our conference.
Well, ultimately, you would agree that the Republicans got more out of the deal than the Democrats.
No, I don't think I would agree with that at all. Not at all.
Well, the speaker has said things to that effect. Stephen Moore, on the pages of the New York Post, said that the Wall Street Journal supports the passage of this bill. So there are some out there who think that the Republicans are doing better than the Democrats.
Yeah, and I understand that, but I wonder if they've read the bill. I mean, I'm looking at admin paygo, where they claimed that originally they claimed they're going to get $1.5 trillion worth of savings. Admin paygo doesn't work, and they know it doesn't work, and you can't even have judicial review because the person who determines whether the administrative agencies have to use paygo is the Director of Office of Management and Budget, who is a Democrat. And that program in itself only goes 1 year. So, Steve, I don't view this as a victory for us. I view this as kind of a very, as I said yesterday, it's a monstrosity. I think it's a real problem and will be a continuing problem for us as it careens us down over the debt cliff sooner rather than later. You got to turn your spending curve down, and this bill does not do that.
Yeah, Washington famous for spending a lot of money we don't have. Congressman, thank you very much for starting the day and telling us where you stand on this. I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian.
Steve Doocy and Brian Kill Me, baby. Ladies and gentlemen, it brings me great pleasure to report that Ron DeSantis is officially kicking off his presidential campaign in Iowa. That's right. Ron DeSantis was in Iowa. What the fuck? The Senate just voted to roll back student loan policies? Wait, no, they did not. Wait, what? Is this a meme? Wait, I'm sorry. No, this is not. Hold on. What? There is zero. Wait, what? Senate advances repeal of Biden student debt relief. Moderate Democrats are rebuking the president's signature loan forgiveness effort. Wait, is this the same one that passed through? Is this the same one that actually passed through the House? Where they want to... But the Senate vote on Wednesday was the first formal pushback from centrist Democrats. Under the Congressional Review Act, the fast-track procedure that lawmakers are trying to use to... Wait. The Senate GOP is pushing a terrible measure to end the pause on the student loan payments and overturn POTUS's student loan cancellation program. It would repeal the pause, force retroactive payments, and jeopardize public service employee eligibility for the PSLF program. Wait. If Biden doesn't veto this, this is literally like, I mean, he's going to veto it. Please tell me he's going to veto it. Oh my God. Oh, Jesus fucking Christ. Please. Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck me. I cannot believe that they passed this through. No filibuster? Why do we have a filibuster? Why was this even put on the fucking floor of the Senate for a vote? What is happening? This does not make any sense whatsoever. I literally said, there's no way this will pass through the Senate because I thought that they would use like at least some of the measures that they have. They have power in the Senate. This is, okay, this bill is the bill that I was talking about yesterday. And even then, I already told you the Democrats will fucking do, the Democrats could turn around and literally allow this to pass through because they're fucking awful. The White House has said that Biden would veto the legislation to overturn a student debt relief if it plan if it passes Congress. If they get a veto-proof majority from the Democratic Party, I just want to say some really non-terms of service things right now. Oh my fucking God. Imagine enough Democrats side with the Republican Party to like override Joseph Robinette Biden's veto. They're not going to get a veto-proof majority, Lamau. If it only passed 51-46, they'd need 67. Yeah, except... who knows, okay? Who knows what the Democrats will fucking do? I can't say it in a video game. I didn't even think that they would let this pass through, okay? Psychotic. Biden looks strong when he vetoes and they don't vote to override. Oh. Democrats vote in support of pushing for student loan debt repayment, including the interest accrued over the fucking pause period, specifically to rein in Biden's executive power. That's the fucking headline that a chatter came up with in here. And I could totally see that happening. Oh my God, I hate this fucking world. I hate this country. I hate the Democratic Party so fucking much. If Biden's White House is messaging a veto, you're not going to see more Dems flip to overturn the veto. That would truly be one of the most insane things in politics right now. Except how many Democrats' pockets are lined up with debt restructuring, debt repayment programs like banks and shit like that. Oh my Lord, dude, that'd be so sick. I don't think it's going to happen, but leave it up to the fucking Dems to just be ruthless and brutal. I just think this was the passage vote. You would have seen the snaky defections on it, but we only saw a couple from the dinos. Wonder how the libs are taking this on Twitter. They're just gonna say this looks I'm telling you, They're saying it in the chat already. This makes Biden look strong by vetoing it. They allowed it to pass through so they could like get Biden to stand strong and firmly against vetoing this. And there is no veto-proof majority in the Senate, so it doesn't matter. They can't like override the presidential veto. Yeah. Biden literally says he's going to veto it. Lamau, Dems already hate Manchin plus dinos. It's not that hard. First of all, Democrats do not hate Joe Manchin. Okay? Democrats do not hate the dinos. They love the dinos. Okay? Let's be real. Democrats love those motherfuckers. If anything, the fact that this was allowed to see the floor of the Senate is an indication that they love, the broader Democratic Party loves their dinos because those blue dog Democrats are the ones who can stand firmly in opposition towards any sort of progressive legislation that might end up hurting their real constituents, okay, their corporate benefactors down the line. That's why it's not an accident that they get rewarded every single fucking time, okay? This is a game. Chuck Schumer is allowing this to happen because, one, it's win-win. The dinos and the conservative blue dog Democrats look strong, like they are, moving away from the party and voting against this or voting for this horrifically awful bill. And then Joe Biden looks strong when he vetoes it. Bernie is live on the floor right now. What's he talking about?
Having said and made clear that what we have before us is far, far better than what emanated in the Republican
But Schumer
House.
looks weak. Brother, Chuck Schumer is one of the weakest motherfuckers on the planet. What are you talking about? Of course he looks weak. Who gives a shit? He's in a safe dish. He's in a safe fucking seat.
Inequality at a time
He will
when the
never be
people on top
primaried. He doesn't
have
give a
never
shit.
had it so good, while the middle class shrinks and millions of working class families live in desperation. I cannot in good conscience vote for a bill that takes vital nutrition assistance away from women, infants, children, and seniors while refusing to ask billionaires to start paying their fair share of taxes. So again, not as bad by any means as the bill passed in the House. This bill will cut nutrition programs for kids and the elderly, and yet the billionaires continue to laugh all the way to the bank. They don't have to pay a nickel more in taxes. I cannot in good conscience vote for a bill that makes it harder for working families to afford the outrageously high price of childcare, housing, and health care, while making it easier for the wealthiest people and most profitable corporations in America to cheat on their taxes. No great secret that the people on top and the large corporations with all their lawyers and accountants, they know how to avoid their fair share of taxes. Last year, we took a step forward to put money into the IRS to address that. This bill makes cuts in that effort. Madam President, at a time when climate change is by far the most existential threat that this country has perhaps and this world have ever faced, I cannot in good conscience vote for a bill that makes it easier for fossil fuel companies to pollute and destroy the planet by fast-tracking the disastrous Mountain Valley Pipeline. When the future of the world and the lives of our kids and grandchildren is literally at stake, we must have the courage to stand up to the fossil fuel industry and tell them and the politicians they sponsor that the future of this planet is more important than their short-term profits. Madam President, at a time when we spend more on the military than the next 10 nations combined, I cannot in good conscience vote for a bill that increases funding for the bloated Pentagon and large defense contractors who continue to make huge profits by fleecing American taxpayers with impunity. Let me remind my colleagues that the Pentagon, which now gets over $800 billion a year, is the only federal agency that cannot pass an independent audit or account for trillions of dollars in spending. Madam President, at a time when the pharmaceutical industry is charging the American people by far the highest prices in the world for prescription drugs, I cannot in good conscience vote for a bill that does nothing